We are quickly heading toward the Labor Day weekend, which means grilling, which is exactly what's going on today in the 10 Show kitchen.
When we think about grilling, we think about putting a little bit of a steak out there. We've got some corn. We've got some great things that are going to be happening today. We've got David Berg out from media joining us today from Lotus, farm to table, bringing fresh ingredients to us. Tell us about what you're bringing in for us to cook today.
So what we're going to do today is a porcini rubbed ribeye steak with grilled corn. Now, the first thing we would do is to make a porcini rub. So you can buy dried porcini mushrooms at Whole Foods, any good grocer, or any dried mushroom would work. You just take them, grind them up in a food processor or a coffee grinder, if you don't mind dedicating a coffee grinder.
Well, you can just clean out an old coffee grinder, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
Or does it acquire the mushroom flavor?
Once you start grinding spices in the coffee grinder, you want to make that your spice coffee grinder, because you'll notice it. And then you mix a little bit of the dried porcini mushrooms with a little bit of olive oil. Okay. And then we'll season the steak liberally with salt and pepper, and then rub the dried porcini rub on the outside.
Does it pay to make extra and use that on other things too?
Absolutely. It'll keep indefinitely. So if you make a bunch of it, you can put it on chicken, vegetables, and it just gives this sort of almost like haunting mushroom flavor. You can't put your finger on where it comes from, and it's just it's a great rub for almost anything. So once we've rubbed our steak down,
And do you use your hands when you do that, or do you use the
I put latex gloves.
Right in there?
Work it in. And you want to let it sit with the rub on it for a few hours, but not overnight, anything too long, because you'll end up sort of curing the meat with the salt and the mushroom.
And you leave it out when you do that? You don't refrigerate it? You just leave it out when you do it? Or?
Well, you could refrigerate it. You generally want to cook room temperature meat. Because the temperature difference from the outside to the inside would be so great, it's difficult to really nail a medium rare when you're cooking a very cold piece of meat.
Because the interior is still going to be cold.
Yeah, so you put it out on the counter for an hour or so, not too long. This is a 12-ounce ribeye, so it's a large piece of meat. We really want to have it at room temperature prior to cooking. So we've prepared a grill pan here with a very hot grill pan. You want to get if you're using charcoal or propane or whatever, you want it screaming hot. You want it about as hot as you can get it, because you want to sear the outside without losing any of the juices. So if you think it's hot, let it go a little bit longer and get it hot.
If you think it's really hot, it's not.
Yeah. And so we'll just take our steak and
so right before the grill melts.
Yes.
Put the steak on it.
We'll put the steak on here on an angle like this, so we can create those great restaurant grill marks that we all love. A steak of this size to cook medium rare is probably going to take about 4 or so minutes aside. So we will cook it 2 minutes like this, spin it, 90 degrees to create that cross-hatching, flip it and do the same, then let it rest wrapped in foil for about 10 minutes or so prior to cutting it. When you rest, the juices then sort of reapply into the meat, so when you cut the steak, they don't run out, they stay inside the steak.
I love that tip.
So while this is cooking, we'll prepare our corn here. This is mirai corn from Pete's Produce in Westtown. It's some of the best corn I've ever had. It's amazing.
You mean this season or every season?
Every season.
Really?
Pete's Produce corn is the best I've ever had. And it's in Westtown. Yeah, we use a lot of their products.
See, that'd be worth a trip, because some of the corn, I've seen corn shipped in from Georgia at the grocery store. So why are they doing that?
Exactly.
We got the best corn here.
We do, and the Jersey corn is fantastic as well. So we buy. We're in season now, so we're buying almost 90% of the product locally. Things like olive oil, Parmesan cheese, we go to Italy for, because they make it better than we do here. But the vegetables, it's all local.
I still go to the grocery store for my olive oil. But if you go to Italy for it, great, David.
But it's still imported.
You are a dedicated chef.
And are you putting the olive oil on, or do you do a vegetable oil?
It's olive oil. We just brush the olive oil on, so we don't apply too much olive oil. When you put too much oil on something, it goes in the grill, olive oil leaches off, flares up. That stuff doesn't taste good. So if we apply just very, very light coating of oil with a brush, it's not going to fall through the grill flat.
See, it looks like you're doing some fancy grilling when the fire's up like that.
But it's really not good.
Really, it's bad news.
No.
Now, you haven't steamed this first? This is just fresh? Because I always feel when I do this, it becomes that like rock hard.
You could eat this corn raw. Okay. It's so good. And we're just gonna give it a little help by grilling it.
Have you ever had raw corn?
I have. I grew up near a farm out in Chester County. All right.
Just making sure.
Right in. Oh, yeah.
So we have one side going here. We got great grill marks. We'll throw it on the other side.
And our audience is going to get some of this too.
They are.
Lucky
I
dogs.
actually have a number of samples to give out to
That was fabulous.
afterwards.
Now, I love this event that's going on in media because you can show up and dine under the stars.
Under the stars,
Because
yeah.
normally, your restaurant, you have to make a reservation sometime in advance.
It can be pretty hard to get in.
Yeah.
So, we put tables in the street. It's very family friendly. There's kids running around, and it's really like a street festival every week, and it's great that we've been able to do it. So there's 3 weeks left. We'll be there tonight.
Starts at 5 o'clock, which
5
is
to
great.
10.
Starts early, right?
Yeah.
Kids get out of school or something. You can have an early dinner all the way up to 10 o'clock,
All the
right?
way up to 10 o'clock. We have a late seating, so if you want to come out for a late dinner, it would work for you as well.
Looks delicious.
Very good.
All right.
Along State Street until the 15th. So about 15 days left, I guess.
Yeah.
So
So it's
today's the
three
first already.
more Wednesdays.
3 more Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Oh, where's mine?
So we have.
So the steak's coming along. What are you
Yeah.
going to do to the corn after it's grilled up?
Once we've grilled it up, get some just good grill flavor on it, we're just going to lightly season it with parmigiano-reggiano. Just grated cheese over the top, and it's the best
Melts
corn
a
you've
little.
ever had. We serve it at the restaurant as our vegetable. As long as I can get corn, it'll be the only vegetable we serve.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
some
I love it.
Strong
I
words.
love it. Yeah.
David Berg, Lotus Farm to Table in Media. For this recipe, visit our website, NBCPhiladelphia.com, search 10 Show Recipes. You'll see it printed out. You'll also see the video of David putting it together. David, always great to see you in the 10 Show kitchen.
Thank you
Thanks
much.
for being here.
Take care.
Thanks for coming in.
All right, up next on the 10 Show, we are checking out